Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Cameron here, Senior National Training Manager at Diode LED, and this is going to be our next reel-to-reel on the Neon Blaze. And so really excited about this. This is what we would consider at Diode LED a legacy product. It was one of our first silicone-based IP65 wet-located flexible diffused type of strip lighting. At the time when it first was created, it was really to try to mimic that what was at the time popular but very expensive, very difficult to install neon lighting. And so we wanted to create a LED format that was obviously more cost effective, you could do a lot more with it, but still had that look of neon. And since then, it really has taken off. It's still one of our biggest sellers to date. And so there's some cool nuances we'll talk about today that I'm gonna just give you a little bit of history on the Neon Blaze and then how to utilize it, as well as the somewhat confusing mounting accessories and assembly accessories that I know all of you probably, if you've used Neon Blaze in the past, you know what I'm talking about. So we'll kind of try to dispel that as well. All right, we'll get into it here. Obviously, this is our Diode LED reel-to-reel, where we're bringing reels of tape light to real life, 15-minute deep dives monthly into either single products or product families. Talk about here, again, the day is going to be focused on Neon Blaze and everything that this platform has to offer. Again, a legacy product, we've had it forever, but I think it was just due time to have a reel-to-reel on this such an incredible product. So just like we always do in reel-to-reel, I want to talk about some of the high-level stuff first. So when you think of Neon Blaze, you want to think of still fully diffused dotless lighting. Yes, it has a more older style format, but obviously that means it's much more cost-effective than some of our other architectural flexible diffused lights like Linear Flex. So this is still a great option for when you're trying to border or backlight or try to highlight any architectural detail, whether it's indoors or outdoors. We'll show you later in the day some really cool indoor projects. Also, that it has two bend radiuses. So this is a top bend or a side bend. Again, when you the traditional style of top bend and side bend, the top bend will be a little bit wider and a little bit shorter. And then the side bend will be skinnier, but then a lot taller. And that's because we are obviously housing that tape light on the side to give you that good bend radius on the top axis for the tape light. So also has multiple output levels. So this is a big one. One of the big proponents of Neon Blaze and why it's used so often is that long max run we'll talk about later. Due to us allowing you to have a low output, a mid output, and a high output, this gives you obviously plenty of options when it comes to the lumen output you need, but also many different CCTs, static colors, as well as an RGB option as well. And then again, IP65 wet located and UV stabilized. Now, keep in mind, UV stabilized, utilizing a UV stabilization paint. So if you have silicone in the direct sun, over time, it is going to eventually deteriorate, yellow, crack. So we always try to keep that in mind when we are designing different projects and helping with recommendations, is trying to figure out ways to put it on building facades or eaves where you can have some type of sun blockage, right? Either underneath the eave to try to keep it out of the direct sun 24/7. And then one of the big ones, the reason why Neon Blaze was so popular back then is because it was one of the first silicone flexible diffused lights that you could cut every 2 inches. So a little bit of a history lesson with silicone-based products. At first, it was like every 8-inch cut points, then 6-inch cut points, then 4-inch cut points, and then we were finally able to get it down to almost like it's tape light in the field with those 2-inch cut points. It's also, to this day, the only silicone-based or flexible outdoor diffused light that we have at Diode LED that is daisy chain capable as well. That's a big one. Now, is it often that you're daisy chaining? No. We always try to recommend home running the different parts of the building facade if you're doing that type of application, but sometimes you need that capability to be able to jump into another run. You have that option here with Neon Blaze. So let's talk about the specifications here. Okay, so just want to give you the kind of higher level. Obviously, this is a 24-volt product, how we're able to go so far of max runs. Like I was saying earlier, you really have 3 different outputs, okay, or wattages. I'm obviously listing both of those here on the specs. So, all the way down from a 1.22 watt a foot all the way up to 4.4 watts a foot. And then you can get anywhere from, the 65 lumen output all the way up to a 208 lumens a foot output. Now, keep in mind that with silicone-based products, this is a little bit, this can be a little bit of a misnomer, or it's can be confusing to people because they think 200 lumens is not that bright. When you're utilizing this on building eaves or where you're just trying to border different architectural details, the high output, even the mid output, is plenty bright because that's to do the job of just drawing your eyes to those architectural details. Obviously, this is not meant for general illumination. You can see we have all the classic CCTs. We even have static colors as well, so amber, blue, green, pink, and red. And then at the static white neon blaze, you have the option to do this as a field assembly where we can ship out the spool, whatever high output you have. Let's say it's the high output, it would then be a 16-foot spool. If it's the low output, you would get a 65-foot spool. So we can ship it out. You can make all the cuts in the field, the connections, the wire entries, or you can do some type of hybrid where we can pre-cut specific sections for you and then have longer leads on it than what would come in the typical spool. Or we can do full factory assembly for you where we do the specific cuts, lengths. We put the top caps and the end caps on, the wire entry. We silicone it together so it has a nice IP65 seal. So you have those options with the static white, as you can see there too, all the way up to 65-foot max run. This is probably why it's still one of our more popular products due to that max run. You need that specifically in a lot of commercial coves or in things like building eaves and building facades where you can't pull power everywhere you want on the side of the building. So keep that in mind. That's why it's very useful, is that long max run. And in a 5-year limited warranty in Diode LED fashion, we have some of the best warranties out there. And then the RGB, just wanted to talk about it just a little bit different. Specs very similar. We just took out though the mid output, so you have the low output and the high output. Big indicator here I want you to focus on is, remember, we get this a lot still. People think that the top bend can come in RGB, and so they will plan out their projects on that bend radius and then are frustrated when it's time to order. This only comes in a side bend option with the low output and the high output. So you can still, because we don't have that W chip, this is just RGB. This is not RGBW. This allows us to go much longer max run. So you can see even at the low output, which is still plenty bright for RGB, you still get that 65-foot max run, which is fantastic. So keep that in mind on those projects that are maybe commercial grade that you want color changing and you have to be cost effective. Do they really need the W? Do they really want the pastel colors and to be able to switch back to 3000 Kelvin CCT, or do they just want colors? Because now your cost has gone down and you can do a lot longer max runs with just RGB. Oh, and then the other thing I forgot to mention is the cut point. Instead of 2 inches, it's 2.45, just a little larger of cut points. And then mechanical drawings, just wanted to give you this breakdown here. You have this all on the spec sheets and install sheet, but you can see very, very low profile. The side bend is at the top two, and then you have the top bend at the bottom two. Even the end caps are not a massive eyesore. They're pretty low profile. They're clear, so it allows the light to shine through. And then just wanted to show you really quick the RGB mechanical drawing. So again, only comes in that side bend, but still the exact same profile as the static white side bend. And then mounting accessories, I wanted to touch on this. We usually wouldn't go this deep dive into it, but this has been something as a trainer we're focusing on more, because neon blaze can be very confusing with how many different mounting accessories you have. Obviously, on the positive, you have a lot of options. So this gives you the ability to create different types of systems, different types of mounting, wire entries, but it can be a little overwhelming. So I just wanted to talk about a few different things. So these are the 4 mounting accessories that you have that are for top bend or side bend. So it is a little bit different looking on the side bend options. You can see there, these are just the little graphics of the top bend, but very, very similar. So you have that bottom U-clip that you can utilize if you're trying to mount, let's say, on the ceiling. You can use many of those different U-clips so that they're not kind of protruding over the neon blaze, but then you can use a combination of some of those top clips as well to help not allow gravity to pull down or sag that neon blaze. We also have a straight mounting channel. Now, this is not a plastic mounting channel. I'll show it to you here in just a little bit. It's a really robust aluminum mounting channel. It looks fantastic. So a lot of times people used to Linear Flex or AlphaTech X, they think that it's going to be a plastic channel. That is something that's unique with Neon Blaze. And then a spine channel if needed for the right application. And then last thing is just quickly on the assembly accessories where it can get a little overwhelming. Okay, you can see here, these are just some of the options. Okay, and that's why I didn't want to even overwhelm you on this training, but I wanted to give you just some base categories of what you have to offer, what we have to offer within the options, and then you can always understand that there's usually going to be a straight wire, a bottom, or a side wire entry. So all of these different top caps and wire entries, they all come with those three options. So that's why the accessory sheet can become very overwhelming, because we are having to showcase every single wire entry with every single accessory. So you'll notice here you have some just typical male connectors with the 96-inch leads. Keep in mind, if you notice on that top left picture, that is the outdoor IP65 connector. Okay, so it's a little bit larger. It like screws on to have a really nice watertight seal. So keep that in mind. If you're doing it on the indoors, you do not have to use those connectors. Some people don't know this, and they're a little bit more of an eyesore and harder to hide. So you could use something more like the one to the right, which is a just typical straight wire connector with the top cap. You're not utilizing one of those larger IP65 connectors. So, and then you also have strip to strip. So the same thing like with our terminal blocks, how we have tape to tape. This is the same idea, strip to strip connectors. If you need to go longer max runs, this is where sometimes maybe you've cut into several different spools. You do have a good amount left over. You need to be able to finish out the run. It's not in direct view, so you don't care about a slight, kind of light leakage or area where you would see the connection. It's underneath an eave. These are great to utilize. Then you also have top caps and end caps. And I just wanted to showcase these, and I'll give you a demo of them in a second. But end caps, the small ones, are for when you want to terminate the end of the run. Okay, the top caps are really, they're kind of like end caps, but they're mainly for like wire entries. And so there's multiple different types of top caps for bottom wire, straight wire, and side wire. So those are the larger ones, and we call those top caps. Okay, and then you again have multiple different wire entries, but also you have jumpers as well. So that's the middle one. Okay, I just wanted to bring this up. It's kind of nice that you have the ability to jump around corners or make right angles on building eaves. So I just wanted to mention that as well, that we have those. That's really what makes Neon Blaze unique, that and the long max run. Awesome. So before we do the demo really quick, I just wanted to show you some application shots where we've actually used Neon Blaze. So we've done a lot of actual custom light fixtures where we've integrated Neon Blaze into them. These are usually for maybe like larger fixtures, and then smaller stuff we'll do like our Streamlight chip on board. Think of Neon Blaze not just for exterior. We use it all the time on the interior, specifically though where you don't want to use channels, you need something flexible, okay, maybe on the side bend too, and tape light's only usually top bend, but also something that's a little bit more robust. If you bump into it, if dust gets on it, people knock into it and stuff, you have that nice silicone strip that's kind of housing that fixture, and it's a lot more difficult to damage it for commercial grade applications as well. Okay, so different types of signage, so backlighting signs all the way to making like cursive signs with it. We do a lot of stuff with Neon Blaze when it comes to signage. Okay, and then just any type of architectural detail, it's just like tape light. So all you're doing is just bordering, backlighting, just doing something where you draw the eyes to that architectural detail. So similar to that outdoor fireplace. It has the Neon Blaze there is really not providing much general illumination or task. It's just to have a nice ambiance glow, and now your eyes kind of almost focus on that beautiful outdoor circular fireplace. So let's do, before training opportunities, we'll switch over here to the demo. I don't have much to show you, but I just wanted to give you a close-up of the different ones. So you can see here, this is what I mean by our side bend. So I'm going to screw it out a little bit. Notice again, this is why we came out with Linear Flex, those profiles that are more architectural, higher end, flexible diffused linear. just because that's where you can allow to have that silicone injection and you don't have to deal with these large end caps. So this is really the one reason why people maybe don't use this in direct view all the time, is because of the larger end caps, as well as the side bend being, you know, more skinny and tall. And then you have the top bend right here, you can see, is again much more low profile. You still get that nice rounded top. These are showcasing both of the spine channels. And I'll turn one of these on here. So, and still though, this is what I love about Neon Blaze, is you still get, do the side bend too right next to it, you still get that even dotless diffusion. Okay, and yes, it's a little bit more rounded, where with an Airflex you get that nice kind of flat top, but it's still absolutely gorgeous, and the end caps light up. So to me, you know, if you are on a budget and you need something to still border some architectural details, personally I think that looks absolutely gorgeous even in direct view. So I wanted to show you, those are the static whites. Okay, keep in mind, don't do RGB if you end up, let's say you have a project where they just want to do red or they just want to do green and they don't really care about doing color changing. Keep that in mind. We do have static colors. They're much easier. They're 2-wire systems. Okay, so just 2-wire. You're not dealing with larger control systems, DMX, Bluetooth control systems, and still a nice saturated static color. Okay, it looks a little orange on camera. This is really a nice deep red. You can see it there on the reflection. And then last one I just wanted to show you before we do the mounting accessories, and we'll end it here, is I do have a RGB version of the side bend here. So I'm going to plug it in. Now I'm just using Kasambi. You can notice here you'll have that nice larger PVC jacket due to it being 5-conductor wire. So you'll, boom, come out, right? You have the positive, and then you just have the red, green, blue. I would use something like a Bluetooth system unless you have a larger project, then you can get into DMX. So still basic wiring, and then I just have it on my phone here. I'll just kind of show you just really quickly the different saturated colors, and we'll end it here. Okay, let's see if I can show you some better colors in. Okay, boom. So I have it on the RGB profile instead of RGBW, so that this way it knows that this is an RGB fixture. If you are any Kasambi users out there, be careful, don't use an RGBW profile. It will look a lot less bright, and the colors will look a little bit unsaturated. So again, not showing the best through the camera. And then the last thing I wanted to show you before we end it is I just wanted to give you an actual close-up of some of these mounting accessories if you've never seen them. So like this is the channel for the side bend. Notice it's really nice and beautiful, sleek looking. It comes with already countersunk screws. Okay, and then just want to show you an example of a bottom clip. This is a bottom clip for the side bend. And then also this is a top clip. Notice how, see, it's clear for the top bend. So side bend, top bend, but they both have their other options as well. These are great to use for direct view on the ceiling. And then last couple things here is just wanted to give you a quick close-up of the top caps. So these are the little guys. We teach a lot on how to assemble Neon Blaze. So I'll go through these training opportunities and we'll do the questions, but really quickly on the sides, I just want to show them one quick thing here. So we have obviously the Diode LED training website, okay, but there's something I wanted to bring up to you guys on our YouTube page. If you're ever interested in installing Neon Blaze or having to teach an electrical contractor out there that how to utilize it, at first it's a little tricky. Once you know how to do it, it's very easy. And so we have this Light Lab series where we do hands-on, and there is a Neon Blaze field assembly there where we walk through step by step how to do the top caps, end caps, wire entries, connectors, everything. So awesome. And then for the sake of time, we'll skip through this quickly. I'm not going to go through it. We do this every reel to reel. I want to get to the questions. So if you ever do have the opportunity, though, come up to factory training. We'd love to have you up there. These are just some of the small tours that we do. We just have a brand new video that we launched called Introduction to DMX Lighting. It is awesome. It does everything from talking about DMX on a higher level, but also a step-by-step installation. Very basic installation, but still step-by-step assembly, how to use the wall controller, the decoders. There's more coming. We're going to add a lot of new stuff to this series, so just be on the lookout for that. It's already uploaded to our YouTube channel. Please, subscribe to us, like us. It really helps us out, and let us know if you need any other educational content. With that, I'm Cam, Senior National Training Manager. I'll see you on the next one.